Today we are diving deep into the psychological playbook of narcissistic control. But we're not just here to spot it. We're here to break the code, to actually dismantle it, using some really powerful, specific tactics. So, let's get right into it.
So think about this for a second. What if you could just turn off the faucet? Most people tell you to just walk away, right? But that's not always an option. So what if you could stay, but make yourself completely invisible to their manipulation? What if you could starve them of the very thing they need from you? That's exactly what we're going to break down.
All right, first things first. To disarm someone, you have to understand the game they're playing. And let me tell you, it is a game. It's not about logic. It's not about trying to understand you. It's about something much, much more basic. And figuring out that core motivation, well, that's the first step to changing all the rules.
And the name of that game is narcissistic supply. You really gotta get this concept. Think of it like emotional fuel. A narcissist deep down has a really fragile sense of self, and they prop it up with your reactions. Your anger, your fear, your tears, hey, even your praise, it all works. It's all just proof to them that they matter, that they have control over you.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Your distress isn't some unfortunate side effect of a fight. Your distress is the point. They are literally provoking you so they can consume your reaction. It's like food for them, filling up some deep, dark hole inside. So, here's the light bulb moment. If you cut off the food supply, they start to starve.
So, with that in mind, we're going to completely flip the script. Look at this. Their goal is to get a big, juicy, emotional reaction out of you. Your new goal? Become as boring as a gray rock. They want to make you the star of their chaotic drama. Your goal is to just walk right off the stage. They want to feed on your distress, and your goal is to shut down the kitchen for good.
And that leads us right to our core strategy here. The most powerful weapon you have isn't a smarter argument or a louder voice. Nope, it's the calm, quiet, deliberate removal of your attention. It's the incredible psychological power of indifference.
You know, we have to totally rethink what silence means in this context. It is not passive, it's not weakness, it is an active, powerful shield. It's a declaration. Because when they are pushing all your buttons, trying to get a rise out of you, and all they get back is nothing. Just calm, steady silence. That sends a message that is loud and clear. Your remote control doesn't work on me anymore.
And listen, this isn't just some new age idea. This goes way back. Even Freud pointed this out. The whole structure of the narcissist is built on this really fragile foundation of controlling how other people react to them. So when you take away your reaction, you're not just ending a fight, you are literally pulling out a cornerstone from their entire sense of self. And for them, that is terrifying.
Okay, so we've got the why. Now let's get into the how. This is the toolkit. We're going to go through 5 specific real-world tactics you can use right in the moment to completely disarm the manipulation. Think of these like 5 keys to unlock your own cage.
Okay, tactic number 1 is probably the most well-known. It's called the gray rock method. And the goal is exactly what it sounds like. You become as boring, as plain, as unresponsive as a little gray rock on the ground. You make yourself such an uninteresting target that they just get bored and go look for their supplies somewhere else.
So how do you actually do this? Well, first you start with your own body. Keep your breathing calm, your heart rate steady. Use really short, non-committal answers. Things like, okay, or I see. You're giving them absolutely no emotional data to work with. No pleasure, no pain. You basically become the human equivalent of beige wallpaper. You're just there, and it drives them crazy.
Tactic number 2. You have got to delete the defense script. This is huge. It's that automatic impulse we all have to explain ourselves, to justify our actions, to defend our position. But you have to realize you're playing a game you can never win. A narcissist doesn't want your explanation. They want an opening to twist your words.
This is all about taking back your own authority. Your feelings are valid, your perspective is valid. You do not need their sign-off or their permission for your reality to be real. When you refuse to get sucked into defending yourself, you're sending a powerful message. Their judgment is completely irrelevant. You are the owner of your actions, period.
All right, tactic number 3, setting a rock-solid boundary. And I'm not talking about some long, dramatic speech or ultimatum. I'm talking about a single, calm, powerful phrase that just short-circuits their entire program without adding any fuel to the fire.
And this is the phrase, "This no longer works for me." It is so simple, but it is devastatingly effective.
Why? Because it's not an attack on them, it's not something they can argue with, it is a simple statement of fact about you. It doesn't invite a debate, it announces a decision has already been made, it ends the negotiation before it even starts.
Now this next one, Tactic 4, it's going to sound a little weird, a little counterintuitive, but it is psychologically brilliant. Instead of getting into that classic I feel versus you did battle, you shift the language to we. So instead of you're attacking me, you might try something like we generally try to speak to each other with respect. See what that does? It reframes their bad behavior not as a personal fight, but as a violation of a shared rule, which is much harder for them to argue against.
And that brings us to our fifth and final tactic. This one is the most internal and honestly the most life-changing. It's about reaching a state of what's called disenchantment. This is where you mentally and emotionally unplug from their drama. You stop taking it personally and you start seeing it for what it truly is, a predictable and kind of sad performance.
This metaphor is just perfect. When you're disenchanted, it's like you're watching a really bad movie with terrible acting. Their insults, their provocations, they just lose their sting. You're not a character in their story anymore. You're just a member of the audience who realizes the script is awful and decides to walk out of the theater. You're no longer hooked.
Okay, so these 5 tactics are your shield. They're amazing for protecting you in the moment. But there's a bigger war to win, isn't there? How do you stop their toxic words from becoming your own inner critic long after they're gone? How do you make these changes stick for good? And that brings us to the master code. And here it is. This is the master key. This is the internal system that makes all the other external tactics actually work long-term. It's called the 24-hour fabrication audit. And it's all about taking back conscious control of the stories you allow to play in your own head. First, you have to get good at spotting what's called a stagnant water story. You know what this is. It's that little toxic seed of doubt they plant in your mind. You're lucky to have me, or no one else would ever love you, or you're just too sensitive. If you let that thought just sit there in your mind, like stagnant water, it starts to get toxic. It pollutes your whole sense of self. So the audit itself is a super simple 3-step process. The moment one of those toxic thoughts pops up, you stop. Step 1, ask. You ask yourself this one question. If I choose to believe this thought for the next 24 hours, what behavior will it lead to? Step 2, analyze the answer. Honestly, is it going to lead to more suffering, more self-doubt, more fear? And if the answer is yes, then you go to step 3, drop it. You just consciously decide not to water that toxic seed. You remember that you and only you are the owner of your mind.
Because in the end, this isn't about beating someone else. It's not about winning an argument or getting revenge. The whole entire point of breaking this code is about one thing: winning back your own mind. It's about reclaiming your mental and emotional freedom.
You see, the ultimate goal of a narcissist is to become the author of your reality, to write your story for you, to define who you are. All of these tactics, everything we've talked about, it's all about one thing: taking that pen back into your own hand. Thanks for tuning in.